Okay, we are ready to get started. Welcome to CME and First Dragon's online webinar, our tips and tricks for Dragon Medical Practice Edition 2. I am Susan Campbell, and I'm happy that we have many of our current Dragon Medical Practice users that have joined us today. So we have many users. We also have some potential Dragon Medical users on the webinar today. So our goal is to encourage our clients to upgrade to Dragon Medical Practice 2, and for those who have upgraded already, to help you optimize your workflow with Dragon. For the webinar, all of our attendees are muted. However, you may ask questions during the webinar using the question box, and we will have a question and answer session at the end of the call, and we'll be able to answer your questions then. For those of you who are just getting to know us, we are Computers Made Effective, and our website is firstdragon.com. We have been in business for 17 years, and we are elite partners with Nuance. We have a strong team of speech recognition experts and are dedicated to giving the best service we can deliver. We are based in Tampa, Florida. However, we have clients nationwide and are happy that many of our attendees are with us now from all over the country. On our call today, we have Josh Collins, who is our Director of IT, and Bonnie Saxman, our Director of Sales and Business Development. Bonnie will give you a brief overview of the CME solution, and Josh will host the technical tips and tricks part of our call. Before they begin, I wanted to give you a few reasons why we are recommending that our clients upgrade to Dragon Medical Practice 2. On this slide, it tells you that we're seeing the accuracy is extremely good. There was a 20% boost compared to Dragon Medical Practice 1. We've seen, many of our physicians are extremely happy with the accuracy. There are 30 more medical specialties. There's support for Microsoft Office 2013. We now have the ability to restore your profile from a backup. There's integration with the iPhone and Android remote microphone applications, and it also supports Windows 8 and 8.1. It also supports the VM virtualization, and also, just so you are aware, the oldest version that you can upgrade to Medical Practice 2 is Dragon Medical 10, and we of course recommend for our clients to continue to stay current with the current versions. Current users, if you have not downloaded the 2.2 patch, it is available and it should be downloaded. And if you have not seen the automatic prompt when you have been on Dragon recently, you can go to Help and check for updates. This update makes Dragon Medical fully compatible with Windows 8.1 and supports VMware. If you have any questions about that, our support team is more than happy to help you with it. And at this time, I would like to introduce Bonnie Saxman, and she is going to talk to you about our CME solution. Let's see, she may be having a technical difficulty. Let me check.
Good afternoon, everyone.
There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the introduction, Susan. Hi, everyone. And I oversee the Dragon Medical Sales and Business Development here at CME. And today I wanted to focus on a couple of common issues that are asked pretty commonly by both our clients and potential clients alike. Okay, as you can see, that's a pretty cluttered diagram, but basically I'm trying to convey some of the attributes of the Practice Edition 2 at the top, and really hone in on our relationships with practically every EHR out there. If there's an EHR that we have not worked with and you're considering purchasing the EHR, we'll be happy to contact them, schedule like an online assessment to determine how Dragon friendly it actually is as far as the compatibility goes. Because we all know that the Dragon Medical Practice Edition 2 software is compatible with virtually any Windows-based EHR. It's just a function of the level of compatibility. So in other words, some EHRs are more compatible with DMPE2 than others. For those of you that are currently using the Practice Edition 2 with an EHR but plan to switch to another one in the near future, we'll be happy to help you assess the options available to you based on our experience in the EHR world. So based on your specialty, your budget, the Dragon friendliness, just a whole host of things. So we'll be happy to work with you there. And for those of you that have neither the Dragon Medical Practice Edition 2 nor an EHR, we'll also help you in identifying not only the right solution for you, also the right workflow with regard to the Practice Edition with an EHR, and the timing for deployment of both. So we'll be happy to help you with that as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so we take great pride in our turnkey solution. There are a lot of partners out there that are interested in selling a box of software. We want you successful, otherwise we wouldn't have been in business for 17 years. We want to teach you how to use the software, we want to customize it for you based on your workflow, and we want to support you after you go live. And our training options, I know I'm skipping around a little bit, but our training options, we offer exclusively online training. We offer 2 sessions, a preliminary session. We want you to go live using Dragon Medical with your EHR if you have one. And then we do a final optimization session or a follow-up session because we want you to have time using both together. Because once you start using Dragon Medical and realize what a wonderful tool it is, then you'll you'll come up with additional questions. You'll want to use it to its fullest capacity. We also offer exclusively on-site training where we will have a trainer on-site who will train you and shadow or follow for the remainder of the day or the week your providers to help troubleshoot, ask questions, answer questions, things like that. And then we offer a combination depending on the size and the versatility of the practice, but we offer preliminary online training where we can help set up the voice profile, configure it on the back end to optimize the recognition, teach them some Dragon Medical commands, and show them in a test patient within their EHR how to use it just to play around before they go live with their EHR. And then we can have a trainer on site in conjunction with an EHR trainer for the go live to help with the troubleshooting and working out any issues. So those are our training options. And as I mentioned, our support team is and our training departments, they're both very awesome, and we're very proud of them. And they both function Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And always happy to assist you. So in closing, feel free to contact me if you have any questions regarding the overall functionality of the Dragon Medical Practice Edition 2 or the level of compatibility with a particular EHR, and I'll be happy to help you, and my information at the bottom of the screen. And thank you very much. And now I'd like to introduce Josh Collins, and he is going to take you through a nice mini demonstration of our product and field any questions you may have afterwards.
Hello, can you hear me now, Susan?
Yes, we can hear you, Josh.
There he is. Okay.
All right.
Okay, great.
Apologize for that, guys. I was there the whole presentation. I guess I just didn't have the proper privileges to speak there, but it looks like I am unmuted now. All right, so let me start over again there. My name again is Joshua Collins. Thank you, Bonnie and Susan. I'm the Director of IT here at Computers Made Effective. And today I'm going to cover a few topics with you. I first do want to start, like Bonnie mentioned, with a mini demonstration of Dragon Medical, the latest version, Dragon Medical Practice Edition 2. Just in case you're not on the latest version or maybe you're interested in implementing Dragon for your practice, we'll just go over the Dragon demo there. And we'll also learn a little bit as well. We will learn how to make corrections with Dragon, which is really one of the most fundamental things you can do with Dragon. You want to improve it. You want it to learn as you're dictating, and that's how you're going to do it, by making those corrections. So we'll learn how to do it today by voice, and we'll also learn how to go through the vocabulary editor menu and add words directly to the dictionary and train words from there as well. And then we'll also talk about creating macros. So if you have any favorite blocks of text, whether it's a normal exam or a risk and benefits for maybe a surgery or something along those lines. You could create a macro where you would say a few words and Dragon would drop in your macro for you there, wherever your cursor may be, wherever you're dictating. And we'll learn some tips and tricks along the way as well. So I'm going to go ahead and actually minimize down here to my desktop. I have Dragon installed. Dragon it's essentially voice recognition software that you're going to install on your machine. You'll have a microphone that's going to go along with it. I'm going to go ahead and double-click on the Dragon Medical Practice Edition icon here from my desktop. And when you set up Dragon, that's when we would be there for you with our customization and training services to help you set up your profile, configure it for your specialty if you have an accent, and all those options as well. Here I'm going to go ahead and choose, notice I have family medicine and internal medicine. I'm going to go ahead and choose family medicine. It has over 90 specialties built into Dragon, so more than likely your specialty is there. If not, definitely a very close match will be there. This is just a tip of the day that's popping up for me. I'm going to go ahead and close off the tip of the day there. And here at the top, this is the Dragon bar. So essentially that is Dragon. When Dragon's open, you're going to have that bar along the top of the screen there. It's just taking a moment to initialize. And I want to show you here the microphone I'm going to be using today. It's really, I think, the most popular and definitely easiest mic to use with Dragon is this Nuance Power Mic 2. So it's a handheld USB microphone. It has many buttons on it that we could program for you to do certain functions, turning the microphone on and off. I'm going to use some of these buttons today to navigate through a Word template that I'll show you here in just a second. So we'll use those buttons as well. And it also has a built-in mouse, so you can use it to move the mouse around and left-click and right-click. So it's definitely the most popular option to go along with Dragon Medical Practice Edition. So we're going to go ahead and click on OK here. And for the demo, I do have just a sample cough and abdominal pain template here from a family practice note. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Now this is a Microsoft Word template. With Dragon, you could dictate basically anywhere that you could type. So in any EMR system, whether it's a local system installed on your computer, or even if it's a remote desktop or through a Citrix connection, we can definitely help you customize it and get it set up to have the optimal workflow for you there. Today, although I'm just going to be using a Word template, we are going to still be able to see some of the same features and functions that Dragon would that would use in your EMR or in any system there that you may be dictating into. So how this is set up, we basically have a sample note here with these blank fields. And what I can do is I can press a button on my microphone and you can see it jump to the patient name, and if I press it again, it jumps to the MR number. So that's how I'm going to be navigating through this template. Another benefit of having the handheld microphone with the buttons on it, you can really streamline some features there and just make it very easy to use. Now with Dragon, when you're dictating, it's going to capitalize the first word of the sentence. It's going to put spaces automatically. Really all you're going to be doing is just dictating, putting in your punctuation as you go along. And then, of course, you can use voice commands to give yourself a new paragraph or delete a word. I'll show you some of those as well. But I'm going to go ahead and dictate a sample note here. So I'm going to start by filling out these first few sections, and then we'll get to some more of a narrative down at the bottom there. Jane Thomas. (1577798). 7/12/2014, February 18th, 1938. Now there at the MR number, I might have spoke a little bit too soon, so I can go back and actually use a voice command to select that and easily change it. So I can say select followed by the words or the phrase, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Select on 57798. After I've selected it, Dragon went and highlighted it. After it's highlighted, you could basically just dictate right over top of it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the medical record number in again here. 157798. So it's very easy to go in there and make any corrections. As soon as you see them, you can proof it as you're going along with Dragon, which is a nice thing. You're proofing it right away and fixing any mistakes along the way as well. I'll go ahead and dictate some more narrative here in these next few sections. Cough and abdominal pain for 2 days, period. This is a 76-year-old female who has a history of previous pneumonia, also hypertension and macular degeneration, who presents with generalized body aches, cough, nausea, and right-sided abdominal pain for 2 days, period. The patient stated that the abdominal pain was only associated with coughing, period. The patient reported that the cough is dry in nature and the patient has subjective fevers and chills at home, period. So as you're dictating with Dragon, you can definitely go along at a good pace and a good speed as long as you're clearly pronouncing your words and you're not going too fast where you're kind of rolling through your pronunciations there. Otherwise Dragon will do a very, very good job with the medical terminology, drug names, abbreviations, things like that. Quickly proofreading this, I don't see any mistakes there in that paragraph. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on a few more sections here. And let me just scroll it down a little bit so we can see the note. There we go. Significant for pneumonia in the past, pleurisy, macular degeneration, and hypertension, period. All right. The patient had bilateral cataract extractions in 2007, appendectomy as a child, and 3 D&Cs in the past secondary to miscarriages, period. All right, perfect. I'm going to do the last section here. I'll throw in some medications here, and you can see how it handles things like milligrams and PO and those types of abbreviations. Current medications include aspirin 81 mg PO daily and Zofran 24 milligrams PO daily. All right, perfect. So there, as you see, when I said PO, it writes by mouth. So those types of abbreviations, everything you would typically say as a physician is programmed into the system there out of the box. All right, so that is just a quick example of how fast it is really to generate a note with Dragon. These other sections I left them pre-filled. I do want to skip down to one more section here, this physical exam, just to show you a quick demonstration of a macro. We'll get into making macros here in just a minute or two, but just so you have an idea, let's say that this was a normal physical exam. There is some macros that come with Dragon. For example, I could say Dragon full exam, and then we'll go ahead and drop in a paragraph of a full exam for me. Dragon full exam. So if you have anything along those lines that is able to be templated, you can definitely create a macro with Dragon. Just drop it in with a few words, and you're completely finished with that section. Of course, you can still go through there and modify anything. For example, it says rhythm is irregular. I could go ahead and say select rhythm is regular. Maybe I want to replace it with rhythm is irregular. So very easy. Even though I did use the macro, I can still go back in there and modify anything within my macro. If maybe a few things were abnormal, but everything else was normal there. So again, this is just a quick demonstration of Dragon Medical. We barely touched the surface with it. Just wanted to show you guys some narrative and a few commands and macros as well, just to give you an idea of how Dragon would benefit you in your day-to-day documentation there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and just leave this note open, and I'm going to go ahead and get into the next topic there, which is making corrections. So as you saw during my demonstration there, it really didn't make any mistakes aside from when I hesitated there. But as far as the medical terminology, the typical common words, everything was correct. So an easy way to stump Dragon can be to throw it a name, maybe a difficult name, a referring physician, or something along those lines. So I'm going to do that here in this section. I'm going to say to follow up with Dr. Starodub, and I'll show you guys here in a second, but that's going to be the doctor's name. So Dragon's going to get it wrong, and we'll go in there and fix it by voice so Dragon learns it and gets it right in the future. So the first thing I'm going to do is to say his name, Dr. Starodub. All right, so the doctor part is fine, but the last part, star of the, is incorrect there. So the first step is like we did before, we do want to go ahead and select it. So we're going to say select star of the, I'm going to go ahead and try that here. Select star of the. So you're selecting your mistake. Whatever's wrong, that's the first step, to select it. You could even highlight it with your mouse as well. But once you have it selected, the command you're going to want to use is correct that. So I'll turn the mic on here and we'll say correct that. Correct that. That tells Dragon that that particular selection is wrong. It pulls up the correction menu here. It gives us some choices. If one of those were correct, we could say choose 1 or choose 5. If that happened to be the case, and Dragon would go ahead and fix it for us, this menu would disappear and we could continue on with our dictation. So that's definitely the fastest way to do it. However, if it's not in the list here, you can spell it or type it up here at the top. I'm going to go ahead and type in the doctor's name. So this is how it should be spelled here, star O-dub, just like that. Now after we've typed it in, we also have an option to train it. And actually, before I train it, I actually only corrected star O-dub. So I'm going to leave the doctor part out because I didn't actually select the doctor. I just selected the star O-dub. So we're going to leave that part out. We're going to go down here to train. And this just gives us a chance to say this word a few more times so Dragon really gets a good understanding of how it's pronounced. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on go and I'm going to say the word a few times here into Dragon. Star O-dub. Star O-dub. Great. So I've done it twice. I'm going to click on done. Now Dragon's going to go ahead and fix it for us here in the dictation. It fixes it for us and it learns and remembers for the future. So what I'll do here is I'll delete this word and then I'll say it again to see if Dragon did indeed learn it. So I can just say delete followed by the words. For example, delete Dr. Star O-dub. Delete Dr. Star O-dub. All right, so Dragon went back and deleted that phrase out of there. I'm just going to go ahead and repeat it. Dr. Star O-dub. All right, there we go. Perfect. So even though Word doesn't recognize it as a proper spelled word there, Dragon did learn it. It did get it right now. That's what we're looking for, Dr. Star O-dub. So it's really those two steps. You're selecting the word. You're saying select followed by the word, like select Dr. Star O-dub, and then you're saying correct that to trigger that correction menu. And then you're going to go from there and correct it and train it as well. So definitely, as you're going along, as you're dictating during the day, you want to try to make those corrections as you see them. Otherwise, Dragon's not going to learn nearly as fast. It will take it much longer to learn from those mistakes. So if you wanted to learn right away, go ahead, select it, and say correct that there to train it. So that's if you're correcting something that you just dictated. The other option, let's say that you have a list of words you want to go ahead and add into Dragon, or you've been using it for some time and you know some words that have been giving you trouble. That's when you can go up to the Dragon bar here. So we're going to go to where it says vocabulary. And we're going to go here to where it says open vocabulary editor. This is Dragon's dictionary of words. Everything Dragon understands out of the box is in this vocabulary editor here. So we're going to go ahead and click on that to open it up. And what we have here is basically just a long list in alphabetical order of all the words that Dragon understands. So there's really a ton of words in here. It's easier to just go up here to the top where it says written form and either just type in the word you're trying to train or add into Dragon. So for example, using the same example, let's say I wanted to go ahead and add in some of my referring positions that I know is giving me trouble when I dictate them with Dragon. It's misrecognizing, not getting them right. You could go here to the vocab editor, and in the written form, you could go ahead and type in the word you're looking for. So, for example, if I have Star O-dub, it's actually already in there, as you see. So what I'll do is, let's say his first name is Tom. I'm going to go ahead and put in Tom Star O-dub. It was already there because we just corrected it. Just to show you another example here, we'll put Tom Star O-dub. We'll click on Add here on the right. That basically is telling Dragon that we want to go ahead and add that word to the dictionary. It gives us a little plus sign here to show us it's a word that we have added ourselves. After you've added it to the dictionary, it's always a good idea to train it, and that's going to be this button here on the right as well. We're going to click on Train. This is a training menu that's going to appear. So what's going to happen here is you'll click on go, and again, when you click on go, you'll just say the word into the mic, and then you want to repeat that. You'll click on go, and you'll say it again. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Tom Starodub. Tom Starodub. All right, it says it's unable to train it. I'm thinking if I just try it one more time there. We'll go ahead and click on done. We'll try it one more time. Tom Starodub. Tom Starodub. There we go. I think it just didn't get a good recognition the first time, so you just want to cancel off and repeat it. Now that I've trained it in there, I've added it, I've trained it, just to see if it is going to recognize it. Let me clear it out, and let me just try to dictate it in here one more time. Tom Starodub. All right, there we go. Perfect. It got it right, and it went ahead and found it in the dictionary as well because we had added it there. So really, anything you want to add into Dragon, it's as simple as coming to the vocab editor and typing in whatever word you may be having trouble with. Now, if it's a common word, let's say it's mixing up your is and his, something along those lines, when you type in, let's say the word is, that word is already there in the dictionary. I guess it's not going to let you add it, but it is going to find it for you, and it's going to let you train it. So if it's already there, don't worry about it. All you'll have to do is click on train and say it a few times so Dragon understands how you pronounce it. All right, so anything you want to add or train, it's as simple as typing it in there. Another feature with the vocab editor is this box here on the right, the spoken form box. Just to show you a quick example of that, I'm going to type in Tampa General Hospital, and in the spoken form I'm going to put TGH. So notice it says if different. So basically, if you wanted to use an abbreviation such as the patient was referred to TGH for follow-up period, when you said TGH in that sentence, because we have it set up here, when you said TGH, it would write Tampa General Hospital. So that is the idea of the spoken form. If you want to give an alternate phrase, a different spoken form, so when you say that phrase or that word, it's going to write actually what is in the written form. So that is essentially the spoken form box there. So you're only going to use that, like it says, if it's different. If you want to set up some kind of abbreviation, whether it's a medical abbreviation or even something along these lines like a referring practice or anything of that nature. So it's just as easy as that, just filling out the spoken form box. Otherwise, you'll leave it blank if you don't want to worry about setting up a different spoken form, which is going to be most cases. Most of the time, you're just going to be typing in a written form here. All right, so again, that is the vocabulary editor. Adding or training words or setting up these short abbreviations can all be done from within the vocab editor here. And again, that is vocabulary, and then open vocabulary editor will get you to the vocab menus. That's definitely one of the menus in Dragon that you're going to be into a lot. And you're going to be getting in there, customizing those words, adding the new referring physician names and medications and things like that. That's one part I wanted to show you, definitely a very vital part to Dragon. The next part is the macros. Just like we used earlier, the Dragon full exam, and it dropped in our sample physical exam there. Those can easily be made through the menus here as well. We're going to hop right over here to Tools, and we're going to go down here to the command browser. So Dragon stores all the macros or commands. Really, it's interchangeable there. Some of the EMRs call them favorites. But it's all going to be stored here under the command browser. So it's Tools, Command Browser. And what we're looking at here, on the left-hand side of this pane here, actually, let me do this real quick. This is how the menu looks by default. So if you've never been here before, this is how it's going to look as soon as you open up that command browser. Here in the middle, we have a list of folders. And on the right, we have the macros under that folder. It's just categorizing them for us. If you wanted to see some of the examples that come with Dragon, we can click right here on Medical Normals. These will show you the examples here on the right that come out of the box. For example, here's the one I used, the Dragon Full Exam. You can take your mouse, you can double-click on these to open them up. If you wanted to take a look at them, you can easily go in here and make any changes. Essentially, what we have here with a macro, the first step is to always give it a name. What do you want to say trigger this macro to make it appear in the EMR system or wherever you may be dictating. In this case, it's Dragon Full Exam. So when I said Dragon Full Exam, it dropped in everything that was down here in this content box there. Now, you don't have to use Dragon. All these samples do start with Dragon. But as long as it's more than one word, it could just be Full Exam. It could be Insert Full Exam if you want to have a keyword in front of it. As long as it's more than one word, that's fine for the name there. And then down here in the content box is the macro as well. So that's where you would put everything that you wanted to appear to get dropped in to the text box there after you've said, in this case, Full Exam. So these are just examples. We're going to make one here in just a second. But again, you can just take your mouse. You can double-click on any one of these to take a look at them. This one is a Dragon Normal Lungs exam. You can make your changes in any of these sections and then just save it when you're finished, just to kind of make it into your own. But more than likely, you're definitely going to be making your own macros. So what we'll do here on the very top left, there's this button that says Task Pane. This is what is not open by default the very first time you open this command browser. This is hidden just like it is right now. So we have to take our mouse and just left-click on that Task Pane button. That will expand the menu for us. And here in the middle, under the My Commands, these are the menu options we're going to be using here. Just some of the kind of common menu items: new, delete, edit, an easy way to go in there and manage, any of your macros. So we'll start off by clicking on New. This is going to take us to the same window we were just in. This time it's just going to be blank. So we're going to go ahead and fill it out. And the first thing we can do here is give it a name. We can type it in. You could copy and paste it, maybe from your EMR or another note, if you have something you want to turn into a macro already written out, or you could dictate it. I'm going to go ahead and use an example of some cosmetic surgery risk here. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and dictate in for my name, cosmetic surgery risk. So that's the first step, to give it a name. After you've given it a name, these other options, you can really leave them right at their defaults and skip right down here into this content box. This is where we'll dictate in our macro. And I'll go ahead and dictate in a few sentences here. Patient was informed about the procedure, potential alternatives, and the potential risk and complications, including infection, bleeding, swelling, bruising, poor scarring, numbness, and tingling, period. All right, so just a quick example there of a few risks. After you've got the content there and you're satisfied with it, everything is formatted and set up correctly here inside your content window. The last step before you save it, you can check this box that says plain text. Typically, that's going to work out for you. That's going to make sure the font and the font size of your macro here, what's in this content window, it's going to make sure that automatically matches up to whatever font and font size you're using in your EMR system or in Microsoft Word, wherever you may be dictating. So it's always, I think, easier just to let it automatically match it up for you by checking plain text. Then we're going to click on Save. After we've saved it, notice it created a folder here for us called User Defined at the bottom. This is where it's going to store all of your macros by default. So as you make new macros, as long as you have your User Defined window selected here, you'll see them appear here on the right. And all you have to do, just like before, is take your mouse, double-click on them to open them back up. If you want to go in and make any changes, we could easily do that and just save your changes when you're finished. So now that I have it set up here, cosmetic surgery risk, I should be able to go ahead and dictate that phrase, and Dragon will drop that short paragraph there into my notes. So I'm going to go ahead and close off of the command browser here. I'm just going to skip down here to the bottom. I'm going to give myself a new paragraph. And I'm going to go ahead and dictate in my macro, cosmetic surgery risk. There we go, perfect. So it dropped in my macro. Because I had the plain text selected, it automatically made it the same font and font size and color that I'm already using here in Word. So again, anything that you have that's a standard statement, you can definitely go in there, create a macro with it, and just save yourself some time in those sections where it's applicable. So again, those two menus, vocabulary, open vocabulary editor for the words, that's where we're going to go in and train Dragon, basically add in any words or train any existing words that are there. And then tools and command browser to go in there and create your macros and your shortcuts to use along with your standard dictation there. All right, so I hope that was beneficial for everyone. Those are definitely two major points in Dragon that that you want to customize and you want to improve just to make it easier on yourself in your day-to-day dictations. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up our slide here again. I'm going to go ahead and close out of Dragon. And now we're going to go ahead and open it up to questions. So let's go ahead and take a look and see if we have any questions here.
I don't see any questions yet, but I'm sure that you know, our Dragon users realize how valuable that information is that Josh shared. And if you all have worked with Josh before, I'm sure you know he's very well known in the Dragon world, and you know we're very lucky to have him as part of our team. And when we're visiting our physician offices, you know, even though they've been trained and we've worked with them, we notice that they get into a routine of working with Dragon, and even though they know it, they forget some of these things, and these are just things that will make you faster, more efficient, and it'll allow you to optimize your Dragon medical. So we're really interested in making sure that our Dragon users are, you know, very effective and you know, very productive. So we're going to continue to do these webinars each month, which we're looking forward to make sure we keep our clients informed. It looks like we have a question here. Josh, do you see that?
Let me, sorry, let me pop it out here so I can read the entire question here. Okay, so the first question was from Cheryl. She asked the recommended version of the microphone. The recommended one, it's Dragon Medical Practice Edition. I'm sorry. The recommended microphone for Dragon Medical Practice Edition 2 is the Nuance Power Mic 2. So Nuance Power Mic 2, I can go ahead and maybe type that in there for you as well, so you can have that in the chat window. There you go, Nuance Power Mic 2. I just typed it in there for you if you can see that there. That is the recommended microphone. That's the one I was using today. Definitely the easiest, definitely if you're looking to get a doctor to adopt Dragon and use it from the get-go, it's always been the easiest and just the kind of the most go-to natural microphone for them to pick up and just start using with Dragon. Let's see, this next question maybe for Bonnie here, I think would be best for this one. We have a physician practice with doctors and we use eClinicalWorks. We are considering purchasing Dragon Medical for all of our doctors. How fast can we receive the software and have the doctors trained?
I'd be happy to field that question. How long, I'd like to know how long you've been on eClinicalWorks. If you just started with eClinicalWorks, it's a good idea to get down the workflow for each provider so that by the time they take on Dragon Medical, we can complement that workflow. If you've been on it for quite a while, they already have their workflow solidified, then we'd be happy to discuss a deployment schedule with you. But essentially, we can have, once we have our initial dialogue, we can have the software and microphone shipped to you and start scheduling the first online or get the on-site training session scheduled within the first couple of weeks. So pretty quick startup time.
Yeah, definitely. And just to touch on that, you know, once the doctor has been trained, after that initial training session, I mean, they're off and running and dictating patients the same day in almost all the cases. So really, it's very, very fast adoption there as well for Dragon once they've gone through the initial training session there. We have another question: how well do digital voice recorders work, and how? So digital voice recorders, there's really two ways or two workflows that you could have with Dragon Medical. So you could dictate what I call direct dictation, where you're hooked up with a microphone to the computer. You're most likely have the EMR pulled up, and you're dictating directly into the patient's chart. So that's the direct dictation. That would be something, along the lines of what I was doing today. The other option with Dragon is using a digital voice recorder. So that's going to give the doctor the ability to dictate, essentially anywhere into the recorder. They could later dock it with if it's give a second. Okay, so as I was saying there, yeah, so if it's a Philips or Olympus, they all have a dock. We could basically have it so once the doctor docks it, it goes ahead and either it sends it to him for review or it sends it to a transcriptionist for review. And where Dragon comes into play is it will actually take that audio file, it will transcribe it into text for you, and then you can basically just go through and edit it. So it's just two workflows there, whether you're going to be dictating directly in or dictating with a digital recorder, and then having Dragon transcribe it, and then you're taking that text and you're putting it into the EMR. So it definitely is a little bit a longer workflow, you could say. If you are using an EMR system, there is more steps involved using a digital recorder. But it does work as well. It definitely just depends on the doctor and the workflow and all the details there. But the nice thing about Dragon is you could do it with either or. Dragon Medical Practice Edition 2 will support any kind of, direct dictation with a handheld mic or a headset, and then you can always use your digital recorder as well. So you can mix them both up. You don't need a separate license or to purchase a separate program or anything along those lines. It's all combined into the software there. All right, so definitely on that, we could maybe follow up with you a little more and just see what workflow you had in mind, and we could help you to find out the best solution for you there, whether it's recorders or the direct dictation. Let's see, one more question here. I use a microphone, Bluetooth, and dictating unit. Is there a way to merge the vocabularies? Okay, so the way, as long as you're using Dragon Medical Practice Edition for Windows, basically what you're able to do is you're able to create one profile and then add all those different sources to your profile. The source would be the microphone. So you would have one profile, and you would have, within that profile, you would have a microphone source, maybe a USB. You would have a Bluetooth source, and then you would have a digital recorder source. So I can demonstrate it for you here. It'll just take me 1 second. Let me pull up Dragon Medical again here, and I'll just quickly show you exactly what I'm referring to there. So if you have a profile for each microphone, yeah, that definitely is creating more work for yourself because you're having to manage each microphone separately. You want to make one profile and then attach your microphones to that profile. So from the menu up here, if you just go to Profile and Open User Profile, you'll see your profile here. And as you see here, I have the same profile with the same source, which is the microphone, but it has two different vocabularies. So I already have something similar set up here, but you could basically just go to Source, and here you have New and Delete. And again, the source is the microphone, so you would go to New, and you would add in your source from the drop-down list here. You would choose whether it's USB or Bluetooth or a digital recorder, and you would click on OK, and that would add it in there for you. So essentially, that's what you'll have to do. You'll have to go in here and add on all those sources to your existing profile. All right. So hopefully that will help you there in clearing that up. I definitely would recommend doing that so you're not managing multiple profiles there.
Okay. Great. Thank you for those questions. We'll see if there's maybe any more. However, all of you were invited to our webinar and through emails, and we had some December specials, and we want to make sure that, if you're interested in buying Dragon upgrade this month, or purchasing a full version or Power Mic, we are having specials on those. Also, we are beginning a campaign of making sure that our clients all have annual support, so that you can be able to call us at any time to ask us questions like these, and we can clarify any issues you may have with your Dragon Medical. We're going to be offering in December and January 10% off annual support contracts. Also, in the invitations, we said that we would enter everybody who attended for a free VXI Bluetooth headset. So we have entered everyone, and our distributor will be giving those away, which is great, and we'll notify you if you are selected. And it looks like we have one more question. When will Dragon 13 be available for DMPE? That obviously we're on Medical Practice 2 now. There is no word of a new version coming out at this point. However, as soon as we know something, of course, we will notify our clients. Any other questions? Well, I just want to thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Josh and Bonnie. And again, we'll be hosting webinars most likely monthly at this point, and we have new social media campaigns on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube. So check us out on those sites. We're going to be educating our clients there along with our webinars. So thank you very much, and everyone have a good day.